Art of Talk is live. I'm looking over here because I got a monitor here. I got a monitor sitting right here next to me. So I won't be looking exactly at the front of this camera that's sitting between the two monitors. It's kind of a weird, very cropped up close kind of thing, but don't have that wide angle camera. So hope everyone is enjoying themselves on this it's very late. It's actually extremely late. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me see if I can focus. There we go. Alright, so move this microphone slightly out of the way. Alright. So for those people who don't know what the Art of Thought is, actually let me lower this down just a little bit. And I'm gonna lower down this YouTube thing too. It's a little loud in my ear. All right. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm gonna cut it. So, for those of you who don't know what the Art of Thought is, the Art of Thought is my show. I'm Kwaku, and it's a show. It's a podcast, and it is available everywhere, just about where you can find your podcast. Hopefully, it's not too loud. And each episode, I talk about pretty much whatever goes on in your mind at this late hour, this time at night. Let me actually post to Twitter right now that Dashi just reminded me. And then once I start the talk, I'll start recording and we'll get started. So give me 1 second. Dashi has written so much. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me just get this thing up. The Art of Thought is live. On twitch.tv/Helix. Helix. I think it's Helix TV. Helix Media TV? I don't even know my own URL. I don't know my own URL. Helix Media TV is what it is. The Art of Thought is live on Helix Media TV and YouTube under the Art of Thought. Tonight, Transhumanism. Hashtag small streamers. Podcast. All right. So now they got the word out right there. I'm Kwaku, and this is it. So now I'm gonna get started in a second. Just making sure everything is good. And also, if you see like right here, someone move. That's my little brother. This is a small room, so this is what I can do for now until I get my own space to do this in a bigger room. I'm also recording from a Sony A7 II full frame camera. You guys can't exactly see it. Maybe I can show a reflection of it in the camera. Maybe I can show you guys a reflection of yourself. So you see right there, if it'll focus on itself. Focus. There you go. You kind of see the camera. That is a Sony A7 II. Don't ask how I got this thing to work. It's not using the traditional method. Yeah. So, this is like clockwork. What's that? Twitch has achievements now. Oh, streaming for 2 unique days in the last 30 things. Oh, okay, that's fine. But let me check my audio, make sure the audio sounds good. me 1 second. I'm not even. Is it even picking up my audio? I see the fluctuation on my OBS here, but I don't see any audio going through. And I do see a huge delay. There's not much I can do about it. I just have to also hope that there's no delay in post. So I'll experiment more later on. Because I know there's a huge delay and I don't know what to do about it. All right. So, um, dang, Stephen Amell has grown his facial hair for Arrow season 7. That's crazy. Amell or Amell. Apparently, Diablo 3 is coming to Switch later this year. There's a lot of things that are here. Ooh, this pizza looks really good. All right. Has it been confirmed that Diablo 3 is coming to Switch this fall? I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. It's coming to every console. Blizzard dropped the Omnius hint in May. Community manager revealed in the last video last week that multiple projects. Leaked info broke early. Switch is coming. Diablo 3 is coming to Switch. Local multiplayer is flexible. 4 players can play on a single Switch console. Up to 4 systems can connect for local co-op session. No Wi-Fi needed. And then the game will be playable on Switch Online Network. A Nintendo exclusive feature include Ganondorf themed armor, a Triforce portrait frame, and other extras from The Legend of Zelda. The Diablo 3 Eternal Collection is coming out in Switch later this year. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's pretty dope. I know, like I said, I know there's a huge delay. I have no clue what to do with this delay, like why there's a delay. I don't know what to do to fix it. So if any person knows the knowledge for it, let me know. But we are gonna start shortly. Let me just get these little articles open so I can get started. Let me see here. Let me move this over. Let me overlay this here and move my browser into this screen. Wait, what happened? I need my browser to be on this screen. I hope that doesn't screw up like what I'm about to do here. Okay. It's gonna be out of focus for a second. And again, there is someone sitting right there. That is my little brother. This is a small place. Alright. What? This music just ended. That's not fun. I'm listening to music in my background. Alright. So, let's get started. Looking here. Is this in focus? This is in focus. This is in really nice focus. This is my microphone right here. So you can kind of see me tapping it. Where is that guy? I have this thing of a Google Drive file open up that I have to do. Gonna do that. Links for podcasts. That. All right, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna open that link. All right, and close these two. Who is that guy who coined the term? Okay. Let me get this thing to focus. 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 Come on, camera, you can focus. There you go. Alright, I wish I could hear myself really badly now. Well, this lo-fi screen is just, this thing just ended. So I'm gonna close that out. Alright, let's get started. Actually, let me test this recording thing. Just making sure there's no delay. No delay. Alright, and then I'm gonna open up a new thing to play it back. I want to make sure there's no delay, there's no problems at all. Where does this even save to? Where do recordings even save to? Show recordings. Okay, it's working on it. Alright, and is that today? Where is the most recent one? Just now. Okay. I hope you guys don't hear this. I have to figure out how to remove that delay. It's gonna drive me nuts. Alright, how to get rid of the stream delay. Remove delay for local recordings. Okay. No, that's not it. That is not it. This is the main screen OBS desktop audio gear icon properties. I unchecked use device timestamps. Let's try that. Properties, use device timestamps. Okay. Is that it? I could really use this thing working. Okay, and alright, I'm gonna do another test real quick before I start. Start recording. Just gonna test this out. I'm already streaming. There's still gonna be delay for you guys because that's just how it is. That's just what the world is streaming, unless I pay $500 for a built-in PCI Express, like OBS, not OBS, Elgato device, and I'm not about to do that. That's too much money. So just ignore the hand that you saw in the background. Kind of distracting. Okay, so I'm going to do this and play this back. Sorry about that, you guys. I had to mute myself. Tell my brother to stay still. Because you see him back there. You see the little shadow right where my thumb is right there. I don't even know if it's in the stream. There it is. Alright, and then there's one other thing that I gotta do before I start doing this thing. Uh, yeah. May have to end it and come back real quick. There's something that I need to fix. Give me. All right. I'm having all these random issues, and it looks like the delay has been cut down significantly. Um, yeah. So let me make sure this thing works correctly, and I'm gonna test this out real quick. I'm just gonna stare at the camera and talk myself off, and then stop it. It's like some of these things I just can't. I can't replace. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a delay no matter what I do. I have no clue what to do with it. So, it's whatevs. All right. Mm-hmm. Make sure YouTube is receiving. Okay. All right. I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, and hit record. This is The Art of Thought, episode 6, I believe. Recorded. Nope, gotta start over. Gotta start over. I gotta make sure this thing is episode 6. Gotta make sure. Let me double check what episode number I'm on. I think it's 6. I believe it is 6, and it is 6. Okay. Start this again from the top. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. All right. 3, 2, 1. This is The Art of Thought, episode 6, recorded on August 15th, 2018. I'm Kweku Asafu Ajay, and today, let's talk transhumanism. Now, you might be wondering, what is transhumanism? Transhumanism is basically a belief that says that, according to Wikipedia here, because let's be honest, I'm not super knowledgeable, says that it's a belief that international intellectual movement that aims to transform the human condition by developing and making widely sophisticated technologies to greatly enhance human intellect and physiology. So, in a nutshell, transhumanism is basically uh, a way of human advancement in a way. So, transhumanism essentially is just like, what's next for humanity? What's the next thing? We've heard a lot of times, if we've played Mass Effect, for instance, or Star Wars, or we've watched Star Wars or Star Trek, that's a good example of like stuff surrounding like transhumanism, in that a lot of time it's, to because our hands are biological and we are basically the types of people that if we do anything our hands will just snap. But with science connected to our bodies, we can make our arms indestructible, and that's a way to transform or transcend being a human. It's a way to become a better human being in a way. It's basically basically a movement that is like, how do we become a better human being? And to be one, it's combining science with humanity. So it's pretty insane the types of things that you can accomplish with this stuff. I'm not talking just like Halo exosuits and stuff, but Halo Master Chief, he's actually like a biologically enhanced human being. That's why he's able to fit into the suit that's apparently really heavy to the average person. um, Another example is, let's see, Tony Stark. Tony Stark in Avengers and Marvel's universe, Tony Stark, he's got nanobots and stuff like that. If you've seen Infinity War, he's got nanobots, and that's how his suit is, his Iron Man suit is, created. It's from nanotechnology, and in some way he fuses with some form of nanotechnology in order to keep himself alive. You see the little thing inside this chest that keeps him alive in the early Iron Man. I almost said Iron Men, but that is essentially, in a nutshell, transhumanism. Another example in the Marvel universe is Captain America, Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers got an implant, scientifically developed implant. Obviously, this is like far fetched, and this is literally I'm trying to make sure I'm in focus. And this is literally, um, it's a comic, so you can't really believe that. But he got an implant that made him how he is today in the Avengers and stuff like that in the movies for those people who watch them. And now he can run really fast. He can lift up more. He has super strength. He can jump probably higher than some people. He can do some amazing things as Steve Rogers is or Captain America is. So that's another example. What's his name? Shepard, Commander Shepard, or whatever his first name is in Mass Effect. He's another example where in like Mass Effect 2, I believe, or 3, at the end of the game, if spoilers, where he meets, I forgot what the elusive man, and the only way, I believe, I'm not sure if it's 3 or 2, but I believe the only way to save humanity is either become biologically enhanced, I believe, or to do something else. I don't remember. It's like a blur to me. But that's that's pretty much it with transhumanism. Like that's an example in pop culture that of transhumanism, and it's pretty cool. That was really loud. That was really loud. It's pretty cool thinking about that kind of ideas because like when you think about it, you're like, man, I would love to be able to live longer or stay young longer or stay young forever. I would love to upload my brain to the internet. Some people would love to upload their brain to the internet to forever be able to live their life forever, not just inside this vessel, which is your body. Um, so it'd be a cool thing. And that's another way of transcending. What is the next thing? I hope this thing is focusing on me. For those people who are listening in the post on audio only, I'm doing this live, and this camera sometimes has trouble focusing, so I'm kind of having trouble with it, but I'm making use of it. But transhumanism is a very interesting. It says here on the Wikipedia article. Remember, I'm not a professional on this, but transhumanist supports the emergence and convergence of technologies using nanotechnology, like I said with the Iron Man example, biotechnology, information technology, and cognitive science, as well as hypothetical future technologies like simulated reality. Black Mirror, one of the episodes in there, it's a crazy one. You should look it up if you can, if you have Netflix or you have anyone's access to it. Um, Hypothetical technology like simulated reality, artificial intelligence, super intelligence, 3D bioprinting, mind uploading. I was just talking about uploading your brain or your mind to the internet or to a computer, and essentially you'll never feel like you are, even when you pass away, you'll never feel dead because your brain's still, as long as your brain's still functioning in some way. So if your brain is functioning in the internet, that means you're never truly dead. You'll never feel dead. You'll always feel like you're in another body. You can move around forever for the rest of your life. And then since it is on the internet, unless something is to happen to the internet, you essentially live forever. And at this point, I don't think anything really much will happen to the internet anytime soon. So you'll pretty much live forever. And because it's on the internet, unless some hacker decides to, dive into what you are, your environment. Say if your ideal environment is like a beach. I'm closing my eyes. I'm imagining a beach. Don't do this if you're driving. And if your ideal environment after death is a beach, maybe just getting near sunset or getting near sunrise, and you're walking with your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, your dog, cat, whatever animal you like, and you would love that environment with your little beachside house with everything you would want in life nearby and everything's perfect. That would be a cool thing to have in a simulated reality when you uploaded your mind. And that is something that happens in Black Mirror, where someone passes away. No spoilers, but someone passes away, and essentially the person is just happy. They live for the rest of their post life, even though they're not in their current body, because that current body is withered. My body as a young 24-year-old is not going to be in this shape forever, obviously. So if you are uploaded to the internet, maybe you will be. Maybe you can say that my ideal body is to be in shape like how I am in my early 20s or mid 20s forever. Um, I don't know. It could be that way. It's a really cool idea to think about when you have the transhumanism, movement and stuff. Let's see. It says here I'm going to an article from Forbes magazine, and Forbes. Hopefully this video does not play. It's gonna play because this is Forbes. That's just every website for some reason just wants to play a video for you. Forbes here says transhumanism and the future. Let me pause this video so it doesn't like slow things down. Transhumanism and the future of humanity. 7 ways the world will change by 2030. I highly doubt 90% of this stuff will change by 2030. Can I close this video? No, I can't. By 2030. It says here one of them, our bodies will be augmented. Now, a huge example in video game pop culture is Deus Ex or DSX, Human Evolution or Revolution, whatever it's called, and Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. And basically, in that, you have a character, and you can just get augments for your hands, your legs, your body, everything, and it's really cool. Getting those augments. It's not overly crazy augments, but it's pretty cool. Like you can see through walls and people and stuff, X-ray vision, those stuff, and it's just an augment. It's bionic eye and all that crazy stuff. And my camera is not focusing, but it's a really cool idea. It says our thought processes. This other one, it says our thought processes will be faster and more transferable. And this, what they expand on, and say that both wearable and implantable brain machine interfaces, or BMIs, are in development from organizations that include Elon Musk's Neuronet. I didn't even know that was a thing. Facebook and DARPA. These devices will dramatically alter the ways in which we communicate with each other, as well as digital devices. Today, when I speak with others, I am limited by the speed at which I can speak and the words at the tip of my tongue. When I interface with a computer, I am limited by the speed of which I can type. BMIs will change all of this to enabling communication at the speed of thought in its full, unfiltered state. Mark Zuckerberg has described the following scenario. Today, when we share our vacation experiences, we upload photos and videos. With BMIs, or what is it called, brain machine interfaces, I can share my full sensory and emotional vacation experience with my friends and family. So they can experience your vacation as you experienced it, which is mind blowing. The type of stuff that you can do in the future, you might be able to do in the future. I'm going to say might because none of this is concrete. This could happen in 1,000 years if we're around, plants around. Who knows what could happen? Another thing says here from Forbes, this is just obviously what they feel like will happen in the next, 10 years, which is really soon. I don't know. This camera's having trouble focusing on me though. Let me see. It says here gamification and, or is it gamification or gamification, and behavioral science will increase human productivity. It says here early innovators such as Uber are already harnessing the incredible combined power of behavioral science, gamification or gamification, and AI or artificial intelligence. Uber's behavioral science techniques include queuing up the next drive as the default option, not revealing the profitability of that ride, which is an uncertainty technique that is most often in gambling. So it's gamification, and giving drivers awards such as above and beyond that spur dopamine release. So you're like, oh man, I want to do more. I remember an example is a friend and I were leaving. We lived near DC and Washington DC in the U.S. and we were leaving this place, and this Uber driver he was apparently by the White House, and yet we got hooked up with him on the Uber app, and we weren't even close to him. We could see that area from across the water, and he had done like 3,000 or more rides, or I don't know how many rides, 3,400 something rides, I believe. And we were like, wow, this is crazy. And apparently, like, the comments on him were like, man, he drove me to Miami, Florida. From Virginia to Miami, Florida, that is a far drive, and apparently without stopping. So, gamification is just the dopamine release. Used graphical interface to bring a video game-like quality to the drive, as well as prompting goals that are always just out of reach to encourage continued pursuit. So, for instance, another example is Fitbit and Apple Watch, but Fitbit I'm more familiar with. Fitbit, when you are running, it's a simple thing. You're running, you're doing your exercise. You can compete with people, and when you compete with people, you're like, man, I want to do better than that person. Like, for instance, my brother is right here in the corner, over my shoulder here, and that's why you see him move sometimes. And imagine if I was like, hey, you have a Fitbit, I have a Fitbit, which none of us do. I have an Apple Watch. He doesn't have it either. Um, let's see who can get the most steps in a day. You know, it's something you can do now. It's gamification to just allow yourself to increase productivity. You're you're gamifying a simple thing such as running or exercising, and you get an achievement when you get a certain exercise. You get an achievement for exercising. That's something that you could not receive back in the day. You could not get an achievement to exercise back in the day. And it's a very just interesting overall thing, that dilemma that, yeah, we are gamifying a lot of things. Let's see another one here. It says even governments have taken up these tactics with behavioral science units in both the UK and US. While these groups are focused on socially behavioral beneficial programs, they must be monitored to ensure that they do not drift into more controlling engagements. In addition to applying these techniques to employees and citizens, uh, it is easy to see how they will be increasingly be applied to consumer to drive more frequent volume driven purchases. By 2030, we can expect that behavioral scientists will be in demand in corporate HR and strategy and consulting departments. Yeah, I can see that too. I can really see it already. The jobs I'm looking for that I still can't get, they are asking for people who can just like see stuff about consumer demand, and based on what someone wants to do, um, determine what they're gonna do next and how to offer that service to them. It's kind of crazy to think about that, but that's what the businesses are nowadays. Behavioral science is something big going on. So I'd say that if you're going to college, or you're trying to think of a major, and you like this kind of stuff, I'd say that's a major to go to. If I could go back, and not pay money, I would definitely go and do behavioral science. It sounds very interesting. It says another thing says we will be more empathetic. So right now, a lot of people are just sympathetic. Honestly, to me, they seem more sympathetic. But says in the future, by 2030, we can expect some people to be more empathetic. Let's see what Forbes. I'm reading a lot of this from Forbes because it seems like they have a description for everything and it's very organized. So let's see what Forbes says about this. It says the adoption of virtual reality can play as an influential role in our ability to understand perspectives other than our own at the current moment. For example, VR can be used to understand the plight of refugees, giving us the opportunity to step into their shoes, which will make us more likely to take action or donate money. So, pausing right there, it is very true. Okay, in pop culture, I'm going to go back to pop culture because it seems like they're already ahead of the game in pop culture. Pop culture, we have Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is a video game series started off a long while ago when I was in high school. I don't know how long ago. Back on the 360, like the last generation game consoles, 360, PS3, and Wii or Wii U. And that game talks about the Animus. The Animus is, in a way, it's a neural implant as well as a virtual reality environment in a way, but you get to step into your ancestors' shoes. And in the current one, you get to the person stepping into a person's shoes. I haven't beaten the game to understand whether it's an ancestor still or not, but it looks to be more VR based in the current one versus neural implant based. But in Assassin's Creed, you can do that. You can step into the ancestors' shoes and see how they lived, how it was back in those times or whenever times they were alive. So it says here that in VR, for example, could be used to understand the plight of refugees, giving us the opportunity to step into their shoes, which will make us more likely to take action or donate money. So currently, if you watch TV at 3 in the morning and you see those really sad children, and it's usually for some reason African children, because apparently Africans are the poorest people on earth. I don't know whether it's true or not. I'm African fully, and I'm not poor. Got a phone here, one of the few then. But what was I saying? You can step into their shoes and see how it really is, not just like they're in front of you and they're made to act sad or look very sad, just so that you donate out of like sympathy, because those commercials are sympathetic. I think they're trying to make you empathetic, but you're more sympathetic. You're like, oh man, I feel so bad for them. I feel sorry for them. I'm going to donate. Versus empathetic, where you understand how they feel, and from that you want to donate, which is just the true way of doing things. Uh, so VR can make you step into those shoes and be able to walk in those footsteps, see how it really feels to be say a slave or an indentured servant or whatever it may be, a worker. It says here, we will see the emergence of extreme personalization and customization. So, right now, just a surface level example is, for starting off, when we had cars back in the day, well, not had cars, we still do. Having cars back in the day, even like the early 2000s, because it's just a recent thing, most cars still don't. You know, nowadays, we have Android Auto and Google, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay pretty much mimics your phone screen. Like, certain apps that are available for Apple CarPlay are pushed over to your car wirelessly or wired. As long as your phone is nearby, you can do it, just like Android Auto. Back in those days, early days, obviously, just like, it's still recent now. I keep saying that, but a couple years ago, you didn't have those features available at all. So whenever you stepped in someone's car, unless they had a CD available or a sticky note around it, nothing of theirs was attached to the car in any way other than their name for the title of the car. Nowadays, you attach you carry this phone everywhere. For instance, this is an iPhone 7 Plus. You carry this phone everywhere, and wherever you go, the phone comes with you. You almost never forget. And with the phone coming with you, your music comes with you, your contacts come with you, your maps come with you. Wherever you've been on those maps, if you kept location services on, comes with you. You step in your car and you don't want to use your phone because it's illegal in the US. It's not necessarily, because then you can still have a text message be read to you in your car because your phone was attached to the car. It's personalized for your experience because you personalized your phone, and then the car just mimicked that. Android Auto, similar thing. So it says here, we've already seen an advantage of degree of personalization in marketing practices. But for example, in the future, this will be extended to the touch of virtually all aspects of our lives. For example, in addition to location and purchase history data, like I was saying, marketers may be able to use emotional filters based on activity to change the tone of message on the spot to response to our current mood. Personalization will also extend to our homes, as we are currently seeing smart home devices that can set moods with lighting and music. For instance, when you're tired and it's late at night, my screen is right now getting more and more orange as it gets later at night. It is 11:14 p.m. on the East Coast. It's getting more orange as typically the human body in this location is more tired, so that you can sleep better. It says here, eventually we may see, and then also we have the lo-fi music that I was playing just before I started. It's supposed to set a mood, that way you can focus and study and enjoy yourself. Eventually we may see a AI personalization affect our career trajectory, playing a guiding role in the positions we are offered based on our personal strengths. It is inevitable that our diets and medical treatment will be far more personalized based on information that our genome reveals about us. Personalization will eventually give way to customization at a mass scale, where products and services will be completely configured to personal needs and preferences. Now, that's based on when I was taking my IT course. That's basically achieving customer intimacy, or I believe that's the term, where the store knows what you want to buy before you even walk in. You pick up. Right now, I went to, like, yesterday or 2 days ago, I went to Walgreens, and in the women's aisle, buy their oral needs and stuff like that, where you buy like tampons and all that stuff. I noticed that right across the aisle, in the same aisle, just on the other shelf, they had baby stuff. And then next to the baby stuff, and around that area, they had condoms and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, so that means that most likely, if you're getting a pregnancy test, you're probably gonna want to buy baby stuff. They already kind of know that, oh, you're not gonna go and probably buy chapstick. You're probably gonna get more baby stuff because, and then near the baby stuff, they'll have like toys and stuff at some other places near that because they know that if you have a child, you probably want something for them to play with. So let's put a toy next to it. So it's all a super interesting it's all a super interesting thing, and I'm not even gonna read this thing deeply. It just says your business practices will shift significantly. So we see this the rise in AI in our career settings, as described in much of the focus on smart factories, industrial IoT, or uh, infrastructure. I don't know what IoT stands for, and related topics. Most employees will have an AI counterpart which will collaborate uh, or through which their work is amplified. Some futurists predict that by 2026, companies will have an AI machine as a member of their board of directors. That's insane. Uh, Here's another one. It says here from Forbes. It says here, conversations focused on our societal values will gain a great deal of attention. Now, what that means, I believe, it says here, as widespread and revolutionary technologies come at us from every angle and affect our bodies, thought processes, and behaviors, society will engage in growing philosophical debate around what our values are as individuals. As a country, as a species, what do we value most? Is it intelligence, self fulfillment, success, happiness, quality of life for all, or something else? So that's kind of where the idea for this podcast came from. At this time at night, 11, getting near 12, midnight, I hope my fan of my computer is not picking up everything. But 11 or 12 midnight, you kind of start questioning. Like I start questioning everything, like a lot of things. I wonder so many things, like why people like Y back shirts, Y back tank tops. I have a list here of topics. See if I can grab it. I have a list here for topics that says, I've talked about technology addiction. I talked about what is art, because a lot of people have that argument. People don't like talking about politics. They say don't do that on YouTube. But why people get so mad about religions and stuff like that. Some people, compare it to different things. I start questioning everything at times. And they say conversations will focus on our societal values will gain a great deal of attention. So it's really interesting when you think about it because it's kind of true. It says here, let me move this thing over just a little bit so my computer doesn't pick it up. Let's see. It says, are you ready to be augmented superhuman? Frost and Sullivan explores these themes and many others in the recently published study, Transhumanism, How Humans Will Think, Behave, Experience, and Perform in the Future, and the Implications to Business. So it's a very, very interesting topic to me, about, the next generation of humanity in a way. What's next? What are we advancing to? In some way, it's interesting how in some way phones are getting to the point where people want the phones to be thinner and for some reason larger in some way. But this camera that I'm using in front of me and I just got closer to actually is in fact getting smaller. DSLRs, full frame cameras are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So right now you have the power of this giant lens. This is a 50 millimeter lens that I should actually be using like a 35. But you have this lens. It's attached to a Sony A7 II. This camera with this kind of quality, magnesium feeling body and stuff like that. Back in the day, it would have been a big camera. It would have been like my Sony A77 II, which is more of an single lens translucent camera. It's not mirrorless. It's not even full frame. It's APS-C. It's a crop sensor. But you can get similar quality out of like a Pixel 2 and an iPhone nowadays. Although phones are getting larger, in some way they are actually getting smaller. And we're seeing what's going to happen next in that kind of technology. And I always wonder what's next. What's the next big thing? There's always going to be the next big thing in some way. And transhumanism is just a type of topic that it's something that you can't really get offended from. in some way. To me, I feel like anyone could talk about it and be very interested in what the idea about it is, around it is. And speaking of the idea around it, let me quickly run into this real quick. Says here, and those of you listening after in the post show or afterwards, I'm looking at articles online just talking about this topic, transhumanism. It says here, precursors of transhumanism, according to Nick Bostrom, transcendentalist. It says Lee as far back as the quest for immortality in the Epic of Gilgamesh, as well as in historical quests such as the Fountain of Youth and the Elixir of Life. Basically, a way to just live forever. This is early transhumanist thinking. Fundamental ideas. Julian Huxley, the biologist who popularized the term of transhumanism in an influential 1957 essay. So Julian Huxley, I give kudos to you for just popularizing the term. And then we have another person. This is fundamental ideas of transhumanism were first advanced in 1923 by British geneticist J.B.S. Haldane in his essay Daedalus, Science and the Future. So let me click on that article. And it says here, let me see. It says here, he also expressed skepticism over the human benefits of some scientific advances, arguing that scientific advance would bring grief rather than progress to mankind, unless it is accompanied by a similar advance in ethics. So that's another interesting thing. So he's saying, JBS, I think JBS is a he, I assume so, especially that early. JBS Haldane says that in his essay summary is like, without proper ethics and equal growth in ethics, human advancement will never grow to what it will never be how we perceive it to be. I guess in a way that is true. I'm gonna think outside the box with this one and assume that he's saying that, without reading the essay or anything like that, I'm gonna assume that he's saying, for instance, we have wars because human beings are jealous people and they want power. That's why we have wars. Wars are not necessarily even necessary in the first place, but we have wars because we want space, we want things, and that's why people fight, and that's why we have wars, we have robberies and all that stuff, because people want things. Whether you're poor or rich, you want more. That's why we have all these problems. But if ethics grew, in my opinion, we might not have as bad wars, and we can work together. And when we work together, we can truly advance. And there's a theoretical physicist called Michio Kaku. He's a Japanese, I believe, Michio Kaku. He's a Japanese theoretical physicist that proposed this model for the advancement of the advancement of our planet. He proposed it. Let me see where it is here. Let me see. I need to go here. So he is a theoretical physicist, and he proposed advancements in humanity. He gave types of civilization. So let me actually do this. So it says Michio Kaku, types of civilizations. Now this was in a TV show, and it's also been written out by him. It's called the Kardashev scale. So I'm guessing either he popularized it. It says by Nikolai Kardashev. Hopefully I said that right. Designed in 1964. Who was looking for signs of extraterrestrial life within cosmic signals. Yada yada yada. This podcast is not about aliens, so we're not going to talk about that. But it's a similar thing. So without working together, we can't really achieve these types of civilizations. Now, here are some of the types of civilizations. It says here, Type A civilization is given to the species who have been able to harness all the energy that is available to that of a neighboring star, gathering and storing it to meet the energy demands of the growing population. So Machio, I believe, says that we haven't even harnessed all the energy of our neighboring star, which is the sun. Um, we can't store it. We can store it actually. We can gather it, solar panels and things like that. We're getting there to meet the energy demands of a growing population. So we might be at type 1 or barely at type 1 for that thing. It says Kaku says here first is it is important to note that the human race is not even on this scale yet. Since we still sustain energy, our own energy from dead plants and animals here on Earth, we are lowly Type 0 civilization. We have a long way to go before it's promoted to Type 1. Kaku tends to believe that all things taken into consideration, we will reach Type 1 in 100 to 200 years. But so Type 1 is we have harnessed the energy and we can harness it, store it, gather it of our neighboring star. Type 2 civilization, here it says that can harness the power of their entire star, not merely transforming starlight into energy like solar panels, but controlling the star. Several methods of this have been proposed, the most popular of which is the hypothetical Dyson sphere. This device, if you want to call it, would encompass every single energy output and transferring it into a planet for later use. That's insane. Alternatively, if fusion power, the mechanism that powers stars, has been mastered by the race, a reactor can truly, on a truly immense scale, could be used to satisfy their needs. Gathering nearby gas giants can be used for their hydrogen, slowly drained of life by an orbiting reactor. So right now we have hydrogen-fueled cars, but rather than hydrogen from our own planet, producing our own planet, we'd be harvesting it from other planets, not our own. What would this mean? This much energy mean for a species? Well, nothing known to science could wipe out a Type 2 civilization. For example, if humans survive long enough to reach this status, a moon-sized objects entered our solar system on a collision course with our little blue planet, we'd have the ability to vaporize it out of existence, or if we had time, we could move our planet out of the way completely, dodging it. And let's say we didn't want to move Earth. Are there any other options? Yes, because we have the capability to move Jupiter. So basically, we have the power to harness planets, our solar system, which is pretty amazing to think about. And then it says here, Type 3, where a species then becomes galactic traversers with knowledge of everything having to do with energy, resulting in them being a master race. In terms of humans, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution in both biological and mechanical may result in inhabitants of this Type 3 civilization being incredibly different from the human race as we know it. These may be cyborgs, cybernetic organisms, beings of both biological and robotic, relating towards the transhumanism thing. It says here, with descendants of regular humans being subspecies among the now highly advanced society, these wholly biological humans will likely be seen as disabled, inferior, or unevolved by their cybernetic counterparts. It's pretty insane to think about. So, it's a cool thing. The Kardashev scale, here's part 4. Type 4 civilization says was too advanced and didn't go beyond Type 3 on his scale. He thought that surely there'd be an extent of species ability. Many think so, but believe that further level could be achieved. Type 4 civilization would almost be able to harness the energy content of the entire universe, and with that, they could traverse accelerating expansions of space. Furthermore, advanced races of these species may live inside supermassive black holes. To previous methods of generating energy, these kinds of feats are considered impossible. So Type 4, the reason why they didn't even go that high is because, by the time you can create a warp drive and all that crazy stuff, you're like you're good. You're pretty good. And then Type 5, the final level, Type 5 civilization, might just be the next advancement. This is from futurism.com. To such a civilization, hereby beings would be like gods. That's insane. Having knowledge to manipulate the universe as they please. Now, as I said, humans are very, very, very long way from ever reaching anything like this, but it's not to say that it cannot be achieved as long as we take care of Earth and each other. To do so, first step is to preserve our tiny home, extinguish war, continue scientific advances and discoveries. So as I was saying in the beginning, as long as we work together, which is really hard for us human beings to do, as long as we work together, we can achieve higher levels of humanity. We can transcend. But with all the wars and stuff constantly destroying our planet, global warming, if you believe it or not, wars, nuclear wars, and stuff like that, rather than creating nuclear wars to take more territory, if we work together, we can achieve the bigger purpose, the bigger goal, and become super better humans. And I'll call myself a superhuman. All those TV shows that you see will finally happen. Maybe Black Panther, you'll have maybe that special material from outer planet, adamantium, whatever it's called, or that you can just be good. So yeah, going back to the topic at hand, transhumanism. Transhumanism basically is belief that we will transcend, not belief, it's a movement that a lot of scientists and people alike, including I'd say myself, futurists, say that humanity can advance in certain ways, and Forbes gave a nice article about that. All that stuff will be in the show notes below, in the description and the post notes. If you're watching on if you're listening on Stitcher or anywhere else, so stay tuned for that. But as always, I'm Kwaku Asafu Ajay, and this has been the Art of Thought podcast episode 6, talking transhumanism. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a good night. If you're on the East Coast or anywhere actually really going to work, you should be asleep by now. Hope you guys are having a good night, and take care. I'll see you guys later. That was a really good show. That was a really good show. Let me see something. So I'm gonna put this Forbes article. Let me see, JS. Let me copy this tab. Copy. Gotta put these notes together without formatting. Oh yeah, I gotta paste it. Okay. And then the Kardashev scale from futurism.com. I really think I'm a futurist. It's a pretty cool idea. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast show. There are a lot of bots on here. We have Banana Man here. We have Commander Root. We have Stool. I don't even know who Stool is. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so it's a very interesting topic, definitely. Let me see here. Very interesting topic indeed. Oh, Ninja Stool. I'm kind of stalking your profile because I got nothing else to do. But it's a very interesting profile. Not profile. It's a very interesting topic. The whole transhumanism thing. Very nice. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. Let me see what else is here. I can't actually view the chat, stream chat. Oh, that's why. Okay, and then hit X. Whew. What about YouTube? Let me see. What about YouTube? I also need to take a deep shower. After going to the gym this much, I need to take a deep spa shower. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure that everything looks good. Does it really still say that I'm okay? Oh my goodness, these TED Talks that are underneath, these videos that are underneath, I'm getting a whole lot of Dashi because I think I talked about them. So now Dashi is showing up. Rothschild. Eric Green Hicks, aka Aaron Rothschild. She is rich. Yeah. Yep. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe. Not subscribe. Follow if you're on YouTube. Subscribe on Twitch. You can follow. You can't subscribe yet because obviously I don't have followers on here. But